West, y'all.
We would love, so Tyler Perry is somebody that we look up to because he was able to do it for his people and kind of create all of that under his studio and have his own little what is that? Creating it for his people and doing his own little, what is that studio called? The Tyler
Tyler
Perry
Perry Studio.
Oh,
Studio.
Tyler Perry's
And
studio. Yeah,
and
yeah.
able to create that. We would love to do something like that and have our own series and all the movies that we would love to create under our studio. And so that's something. I mean, that'd be a dream to do. And we're not getting any younger, so we gotta find funding so that we can do that, and create that before we pass, so we can have something to leave behind to our children.
Tyler Perry's as a great example.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
He's-
yeah, that's good. Yeah.
he's amazing.
She's got that one character that's in all his films.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he does all the characters himself.
But
Yeah,
with
he does
that-
everything himself.
With that, and with his drive and his dream, and making things possible for his people and for his family, and I just think, man, he is such a great example because that's exactly what we would love to do for our people, is to have exactly what he's doing for his, and to create that opportunity for Polynesians that don't have that opportunity normally.
Yeah, exactly. Because we want to see a lot of upcoming, young generations coming. Because, like she said, we're getting old. Especially me myself individually. I'm getting old, and I want to do something, you know, uh, uh, to lay it down before I die. You know what I mean? Because we want to leave it down for the rest of them. We want to see them, get their success on, and hopefully they can pass that torch down too as well to the rest of the Polynesians, to the rest of the kids. We want to keep it going just like every other race, like what we just talked about earlier. We want that for our people as well, specific people, because I know there's a lot of them out there that have talent but just don't know how to start it, and don't know what kind of stories they want to tell. So it's going to be very helpful once things start to open up even more. Once you get out there more and you start connecting with some people, so on and so on. And I would like to meet more our fellow Polynesians to network and see what is out there as well for them. Because we want to lay it down for them out here too, because we live out here. And you guys out in New Zealand, we, like I said, we learned a lot and we got experiences, and it was great, to be in a different world and learn it and understanding it. Oh man, it was great. I was like, this is really great what they're doing. TV shows and movies, they establish a lot out there. So we want to do that. When we came back, we're like, it's like, man, we'll put some more films out there after this, and then the next step is later down the line once we get everything going. We just want to help everybody else out there too that's willing to put that work into, be script writer, actor, director, executive producing, whatever it is, composing it. In the film game, man, I would love to see more of our people in that because, yeah, The Rock, Jason Momoa, and all these guys are high paying uh, actors out there, and they're doing great. And that should be the one to be inspired by and be a motivation for you to see that, hey, we can do that. You know, why not? Let's see the youngsters, out there that they can bring. Because I know for sure there's other writers out there. They just don't know how to start it and all that. And I know they're probably better than me. And there's better music composers out there as well, producers and so on, so on, so on. There's a lot of them out there, but we're just not seeing enough. So
It
it
was definitely
starts within
inspiring
ourselves.
to see that. When we went to New Zealand, it was so inspiring to see, just like all the filmmakers that were Polynesian that were doing it that look like us. We're from different countries, but it was just, yeah, to know that Polynesians around the world are doing the same thing. And yeah, we were super inspired while we were there. And when we came back, like Lee said, it's like we wanted to do that. For me and for I know the rest of the team, it's having that Tyler Perry studio where it's all Polynesians, or giving the Polynesians the opportunity to do everything, cast, crew, makeup, everything. And so that would be a complete dream to have that. And like Lee said, just to have more people, maybe they don't realize that they're good at it, and just to give them the opportunity to actually try and see, you just never know.
Yeah, one of the things I was really intrigued by when I first saw the SOSEFINA trailer many years ago uh, was well, was just the having a stripper at the strip club, and I was like, hey, what the hell is this? Like, I've never seen this before. Is this fiction or what is this? And to but that was the initial thought, and you guys talk about telling our stories, and you guys come from the United States. There's a different perspective of stories from our people, right? Like me from New Zealand, like we got a whole lot of stuff happening here. We can relate to it because everyone talks like us. We went to the same schools, we grew up same places, and blah blah blah. But islanders coming from a different country, even Australia in a way, but more so the United States, because you guys live in a way different environment.
Hey Cam, can I butt in? Can I come in real quick? There's a movie there in New Zealand that was shot a long time ago. Kind of the same lines as what we're trying to do to release the film Sosefina. Once We're Warriors. When that movie came out, over there in New Zealand, it had a lot of controversy and everything because of what that film was representing with the Polynesian people out there, especially with the Maori culture. So I think Sosefina is around that same thing, but here in the States. So it's gonna be definitely kind of in the same lines of Once We're Warriors, but for here in the United States in America. So I kind of compare our movie to that movie, but in a sense of
And I remember we
what I'm
talked
saying,
about
like.
that too when we were at your house and we did the podcast with you guys. You guys brought that. Somebody mentioned, how does it feel to be compared to Once We're Warriors? And I can't remember our response, but to me, to be compared to something so controversial, isn't completely bad. It's bringing awareness to things that aren't talked about normally, and some things that it's not comfortable to talk about in your homes, I guess. But at the same time, it's bringing awareness to it so people know, like, I'm not the only one going through it. And I don't think we, at the time when we went to your house to do the podcast, I don't think we talked about going to the strip club, because while we were there, we went into a strip club for educational purposes. but but
I don't know
Again,
if
they
it
left.
was.
Data, collecting
I don't
data.
know if it
They
was you
no,
guys,
they
but
left. They left me there. They say, "Hey, we'll be right back." I said, "Where you guys going?" He said, "We got to go." I said, "Man." Then later on the night, they told me, say, "Hey, we went to the strip club." I said, "What the hell?
Yeah,
Where
we're, uh,
was
we're
I?"
we're collecting data for the next
anyways,
generation.
Sorry,
so we went
wanted
to
to quit it.
the strip clubs because I know a lot of people in New Zealand were telling us there's no such thing as Polynesian strippers, and so we went to go look for some, not to prove anybody wrong, but 'cause we wanted to invite them to the premiere as guests, not as entertainers. And we did. We found some, and it was so sad because when we invited them to come on as our to honor them at our premiere, they were sharing their stories with us, and their stories are so similar. They're not being heard, trying to make ends meet and stuff like that. And so, not to prove anybody wrong, but there are Polynesian strippers out there, especially in Auckland, New Zealand, to be specific.
And you're right. It's those taboo subjects, that
Yeah.
no one wants to talk about because they might feel embarrassed about it. By it, they don't want to be associated with any of stuff like that. Whatever it is that's taboo. But if it happens, it's real. It's real. It's out there. It's happening. And like,
Yeah.
and that's the thing because I did a little bit of reading after we did that podcast and we talked about Once We're Warriors. I did a bit of reading about the author Alan Duff. Now he talked about the whole thing with him with shining the light. He said that's just a section of people. in New Zealand, but it's like the section that's it's like a cycle. It's like
Yeah.
a poverty cycle. It's a section of society that's real and it's truth, but it's the truth. And he got a lot of pushback by Māori around New Zealand, especially politicians saying, "Oh, you can't say that stuff," because
Yeah.
they're embarrassed. They don't want it to be put out there. We're not like that,
Oh
but
my
but
gosh,
it's the
that's so
truth
true.
for him. That's the truth. So that's a similar sort of
Yeah.
feedback you guys
That's
got.
exactly it. I mean, the same thing. We were getting messages like crazy telling us to stop and telling us that this isn't what we actually go through. This is only in America. Stop portraying our people that way. You're making us look bad. Just we just got so many negative comments. Like, stick to comedy. Polynesians are known for comedy, not for drama. But we weren't trying to cause any problems. We're not trying to shed a different light and have people look at us differently. But at the same time, we're trying to bring awareness to what things that really happen. And like I said, just to make it seem, or for people to know that they're not the only ones going through things. Because for us Polynesians, it's so hard for us to get help, first of all. And there's such a high number of people that are Polynesians that are depressed. And I know in New Zealand, we had this conversation that the suicide rate was really, really high for in New Zealand. And I think it's just that. It's like a lot of it, people feel like they're alone in situations, and they're not able to heal or get help, or it's not normal to talk about things in families. A lot of stuff is like you keep it to yourself. You don't talk about it out in public. You don't talk about it outside the house. And so I just think that's the hard part, is where people feel like they're alone. But if people end up sharing their stories and things that they really go through, then I think it could start the healing process for some people to know that, I'm not the only one going through this. There's other people going through the same exact thing, which is why we love Once We're Warriors, because that was such a hard movie to watch because there's so much truth in it. And I know I wasn't the only one that felt that movie. I know a lot of other Polynesians did, because, we've been through that. We've been through that. And so as tough as it was to watch that, it brought awareness to the situation. I don't feel like it made us look bad as Polynesians. I just felt like, we're not the only culture to go through abuse, the sexual, physical, suicide. We're not the only ones to go through all that. But we're the culture that doesn't like to talk about it.
With the writing for your new projects, are there similar sort of stories? Are these taboo stories you guys gonna bring out?
So
In a way.
I can say the next one is pretty much about an immigrant adapting to the California lifestyle. So that's one of our next ones, and then we just got a full list of a lot of those stories of a lot of the stuff that we trying to do is not only just for entertainment, but it's to learn something. We don't want to just make a movie for nothing. We want our people to feel something when they leave, take a look at their own life, and try to better themselves, both mentally, spiritually, whatever it is. But that's the next one coming up. So hopefully we can get the money for that one.